Hey everyone, VortexTCG here, and today I'm going to be doing a brand new deck profile and deck discussion overall about an archetype that is very close to me. It is the first deck that I actually played in the Digimon card game, was the first deck I actually brought, and that is Eosmon. Eosmon has such a special place for me just due to the fact that it kind of introduced me to the game itself. Has a very unique play style, or at least it did back then, and has been kind of pushed to the wayside in recent years. Hasn't really got any new support since BT6, its debut set, and we've seen a few pieces come, such as like Quartzmon, but nothing huge, except for today in BT14 in the 3rd anniversary pack, or 3rd anniversary survey pack I believe it's called. We get a brand new card, a brand new Morphomon that is. So it's actually inspired me to do a brand new deck profile for Eosmon, and I'm also going to discuss the new Morphomon card here as well. So if you're looking forward to this new deck profile and discussion of Morphomon promo, please do like and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated, and if there's things that you think could be improved on the video, please do let me know in the comment section down below. But let's get straight on with the discussion for the brand new Morphomon that we have access to from the 3rd survey pack. So here we have the brand new Morphomon. It is definitely an interesting card that helps fix a lot of the problems of this archetype. There are still loads of problems with this archetype, I feel, but this is a good start. I hope that we get more Eosmon support in the future, because this new way of playing it, I think, is it's pretty decent. So it is on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Eosmon and 1 Manoa Bellucci among them to your hand, place the rest to the bottom of the deck. Then by placing this card under one of your Eosmon, you may play 1 Manoa Bellucci from your hand without paying the cost. And it also has an inherited effect. When another Eosmon, is played, this Digimon may Digivolve into an Eosmon from your hand, reducing the Digievolution cost by 3. So this deck has a lot of issues, but this Morphomon actually tries to fix a lot of those issues from it just having so many effects. The search is always going to be a big problem, because Morphomon, the original one, is an on-deletion effect. So you're kind of hoping that it gets deleted in security. And if it doesn't, it feels very bad because it puts you far behind. The old one allows you to do the same thing, add an Eosmon and the tamer Manoa Bellucci, but it feels very, very slow and very reactionary. However, with this brand new one, you get smaller search range for sure, but you also are able to put it underneath one of your Eosmons, so it doesn't feel like a dead play, and you're also able to play Manoa Bellucci for free. Obviously, this deck has a way of playing Manoa Bellucci already through the level 4 Eosmon that allows you to play a tamer for free. The problem with that card is that your opponent also gets to play a tamer for free, and that's always been the downside of playing level 4 Eosmon. Sometimes it works and your opponent doesn't have anything, but if they do have something, it feels really, really bad. So pretty good effect as on play, but the inherited effect is also amazing as well. Just reducing your next Eosmon when you play another Eosmon by 3 is very, very important for the deck, because this means that your level 6s are essentially a lot more cheaper in this deck, and that's always been the big problem with Eosmon. Going into the BT6 Eosmon level 6 costs 5, and that is an extraordinary number for something that feels very mediocre, especially when it was even debuted in BT6. Deleting a guy is very strong, obviously, but we've got to the point in this game now where there are prevention effects, and sometimes it just doesn't feel great. So I'm glad that this card helps fix a lot of the issues with this deck. However, there are still plenty of issues with the deck. The lack of level 4s, there's still a lack of a level 3 in my opinion. Level 5, maybe a different level 5 that has maybe some different playability other than just swing, play another guy. And another level 6, which feels like it should be up to modern day standards. And maybe even a new Manoa Bellucci in my opinion, because while that card is still very good, it does still feel a bit dated compared to this card itself. So I'm hoping that at some point they revisit the whole strategy, but this is the card we've got. So let's showcase the deck profile, because I still think it is a very interesting rogue deck that you could be playing. Is it going to take tournament wins? Probably not, but if I get all the cards, I'm definitely going to be playing it at locals. So let's get into the build. I'm going to be using a green build because it's pretty much the only build you can do at this point. There have been times where you could play stuff like black, but in my opinion, black is too gimmicky, and this one's a lot more straightforward and gets you a lot more consistent than before. So let's talk about the deck. So for the eggs, I'm playing 4 Morphomon. If you attack an opponent's Digimon, trigger draw 1. If I'm being perfectly honest, this deck just doesn't have a really good green egg that you can play. Maybe if the one from the Terriermon starter deck comes out soon, we could play maybe a little bit of a green package at the tamer level, but for the time being, there isn't a good level 2 or Digitama that's level 2 for this deck. So you're kind of put in between something like a Pinomon, but you could also go something like the unsuspend phase, gain a memory. It doesn't feel great. So you can play around with the egg for sure, in my opinion, but yeah, it's just the one that I prefer running at this point. For level 3s, we play 4 Agumon BT11. It's kind of funny because I'm also playing this in Tyrannomon, which I showcased on the channel just a day ago at this point. But this card does a lot of things for this archetype. If you have a tamer in play, gain 2k DP. That's always going to be very nice, especially if you go into, your stack by going to level 3, level 4, level 5 Eosmon. And also the searcher that you are able to get is very important for this deck, because finding your tamer is a must, because your tamer is your resource engine in this deck. And so if you're able to play any cards that help you find that, you best believe that we'll be playing it, and Agumon fits that. So we're going to play 4 Agumon. Then we also play 4 of the old Morphomon. On deletion, reveal top 5 cards of your deck, add 1 Minoa Bellucci and 1 Digimon card with Eosmon in its name among them to the hand, and place the rest to the bottom of the deck in any order. This search is pretty good, but if you think about it, in the same set, BT6, we got Huckmon, and Huckmon does a lot more, which is very disappointing, because if Morphomon had the same on-play effect that also searched, I think it would be pretty decent in my opinion. But as it's on deletion, it feels very slow, so you end up just playing 4 of it though, because it is a name, it helps you search the cards you need. Again, you only play 4 Minoa Belluci because there are only 4 in the game that you can play. So yeah, you have to play it at the rookie level. So yeah, we play 4 of the old BT6 Morphomon. We obviously play 3 of the new Morphomon. I've already explained why this card is very good, but in summary, good search, reduction, get to play a tamer for free, all good things that the deck needs, and you play out 4. Let's talk about level 4s now, and a bit of a weird one, Terriermon. There isn't really much to say. There isn't really any good level 4s that are generic that you could be playing in this slot. I'm sure there's going to be someone in the comment section that says, you could do this, or something like that. But in my opinion, just having the cheap evolution is enough for me, and the blocker does come up sometimes, but it is what it is. If you have any other options that you could potentially bring, let me know, because I am very much interested. But yeah, at the moment it's just Terriermon from Starter Deck 4. Then we play 4 of the BT6 level 4 Eosmon. This is the one that I mentioned before that allows you to play a white tamer card with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost, and then your opponent may play 1 tamer card from their hand without paying its memory cost. And then its inheritable is actually pretty good. When attacking, you may play 1 white tamer card with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. Yeah, obviously that when attacking effect, inheritable, is really nice, but the on-play effect is very annoying in some cases, because if you don't have the white tamer in your hand, your opponent is still able to play a tamer that they can as well. So it doesn't feel great, let's put it that way. I understand why this has like a bit of a restriction, because I think at this time having a level 4 that just plays a tamer was unheard of essentially. So I get why there's a drawback from how old this set is, where it came from anyways, but and it also plays into the game plan, which I'll discuss later. But if your opponent is getting a free tamer, it's not great. So I hope you're good at guessing if your opponent has the card or not, because you're going to be doing that a lot with this deck. But you have to play it because it's a name. So yeah, we play 4 of it. Let's talk about the cover card, the Eosmon level 5. You can play 50 copies of this card in your deck if you want to. It has a simple effect: when attacking, play level 5 or lower Eosmon from your hand without paying its memory cost, and then inheritable, gain 1k DP on your turn. This is your main resource engine, which I'll actually go into now, because I'll discuss the Manoa Bellucci here, because I feel like to get a grasp of this deck, you need to know what the Manoa Bellucci does. So it's a set to free tamer, which is quite nice. I think it's the only generic white one that does that. It has a your turn effect. When you play an Eosmon, you may suspend this tamer to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 tamer card or 1 Digimon card with Eosmon in its name among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order, and then opponent's turn. While you have an Eosmon in play, your opponent's tamers don't unsuspend during their unsuspend phase. So the reason why you want to be playing out these level 5 or lower Eosmons is because then you get the search from Manoa, and this is your main resource engine. So when you play a guy, you can tap them all, gain like 3 or 4 cards from your search, and it feels very, very good when you're able to do it. That's why this card is very pivotal for this deck. However, there is also other good things about this card. The fact that your opponent's tamers cannot unsuspend is huge in some matchups. So, for example, if you're able to somehow suspend a bunch of hybrid cards, or your opponent suspends them for effects or something like that, maybe like yellow control in BT14, for example, they can't suspend those guys anymore. So they feel like one-time uses until they can actually get rid of an Eosmon, and in my opinion, that is very, very good going into the BT14 format. Is it going to win you games? Sometimes, but is it going to win you a major tournament? Probably not, but this is the main one you have to play, so you play 4 Manoa Bellucci. So you get the idea of the level 5 Eosmon, but let's talk about the level 6s. Let's talk about this one first, which is the BT61. It has a digicost of 5, which is one of the huge issues with this deck. It costs too much to go into. When digivolving for each tamer in play, again, going into the level 4 Eosmon player tamer effect thing, you can place 1 level 5 or lower Eosmon from your trash at the top of this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards in any order. If you play 2 or more cards with this effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. And then it has your turn effect. For every 3 Digi-Evolution cards this Digimon has, it gains security attack +1. This is supposed to obviously be a huge ender, because, well, let's face it, deleting one huge guy could make the difference in a game, and also gaining more security attack from putting things underneath is going to be huge, to the point where you could probably get 2 or 3 security attacks off, so you're swinging for 4 security checks, and that is quite huge. It also is 13k DP as a level 5, which is pretty decent, at least back in BT6. I think now there's a lot of level 6s that have that DP range, but it also gets increased by the Eosmon you put underneath as well, so it can be even bigger as well, taking out level 7s as well. So yeah, this is your main guy that you want to go into once you set everything up, and it's a decent payoff, but sometimes it can feel very slow. So you play 4 of it because it is a name. We also play 2 of the BT7 Eosmon. This one is a little bit more simpler, costs 3 to go into, but doesn't have a nearly as good effect. All your turn even, all your other Eosmon gain 1k DP. This is just so that your Eosmons can survive security checks when they swing, which is pretty important for the deck. And then on deletion, you may play 1 level 5 or lower Eosmon from your hand without paying its cost. Yeah, just being able to make sure that you have another level 5 Eosmon ready to go on your following turn is very, very important for this deck, because let's face it, I mean, the Manoa matters in this situation, just having the level 5 matters, and if it was to die in security, you're able to trigger the Manoa again, so it is very important. Not as good as the BT6 one, but you do need to play it, so you play it at 2. Quartzmon. I don't think I need to explain this one that much, but It costs 6 to go into for this deck. When digivolving, suspend all other Digimon and all Tamers, and then for every 2 suspended Digimon and all Tamers, gain 1 memory. All turns other than this Digimon and Tamers don't unsuspend, and then when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. Then trash the top card of your opponent's security stack for every 5 suspended Digimon and or Tamers. This is almost a game finisher for this deck because you're going to be forcing your opponent to play out Tamers through multiple effects, and also the nature of the deck. You're going to be swarmed pretty early on, in my opinion, if your opponent knows how to play around Eosmon. So just having a bunch of guys on the board, gain a bunch of memory back, and then swing in and then trashing maybe 1 or 2 security is very, very powerful for the deck. And it also slows the game down, and that's what Eosmon desperately needs in this deck. If you can slow down your opponent, I feel like you're in a pretty good position, in my opinion. So yeah, you play 3 of this because it is the way that you slow your opponent down in most scenarios. Then we play the option card Cutting Edge. This is a decent card in my opinion. You may play 1 level 5 or lower Eosmon from your hand without paying its memory cost. Then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to the Digimon played with that effect, and the security effect is the same as the main effect. This is just a good way to get rid of additional attackers sometimes. You primarily want to see this in security, but sometimes just playing it on your turn is okay as well. So it helps you keep the ball rolling, and if you think about it, the Eosmon level 5 costs 5 to hard play, so this only costs 1 extra and you're deleting an extra guy, so there is value to be made there for sure. So yeah, you play 4 of it just because it slows your opponent down, and that's what you desperately need in this deck. Finally, we have, actually no, we don't have finally, we have another option card in X Program. These 2 cards are kind of like things you can switch out, in my opinion, but the reason why I play X Program is because it's a board wipe in the situation that you need one, essentially. Obviously, Quartzmon helps you control the board, but this clears the board. So the main effect: delete one Digimon without X antibody in its traits. If there are 3 or more Digimon in play, that's including yours as well, delete all Digimon without X antibody in their traits instead. You might think this is a really bad card, why would you do this? But in my opinion, sometimes you just need to hard reset the game, and hard resetting the game sometimes wins you the game, because you can be the one prepared to go into a massive stack or something like that in the following turn. So yeah, just having this as a card that can reset at any point, I think is pretty valuable in my opinion. So I played 2 in this situation, but I would understand if you decide to play something else in this slot. It is a slot that you can switch out. And then I've already discussed Manoa, but you play 4 of this, you're tamer of the deck. Anyways, that has been my Eosmon discussion and deck profile. Again, I don't think it's going to be a very competitive deck. It's definitely rogue. When I mean rogue, I mean rogue tier, because it's going to be very obscure, but might see some play now because of the new promo Morphomon. So let me know what you think about the deck profile and Eosmon in general in the comment section down below. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.